Hi, everybody. I'm Alan from Grace Memorial, and I'm once again at our fabulous kitchen, and I am happy to introduce you to somebody. I want to introduce you to Ivy Olivier of Two Birds Meal Prep. Now, many of you have heard about how we got a license for this kitchen to be a commissary kitchen so that we can better serve our neighbors and this community. And our first pilot program is with Ivy. And so we get the opportunity to meet her, to learn a little bit about her, and to partner with her in ministry. Ivy. So Ivy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, I'm Ivy. I am the chef and the mastermind behind Two Birds Meal Prep. We started out as, honestly, I've been cooking my whole life, and I've been in kitchens, mostly working my way through college, and all growing up, of course, cooking with my mom in the kitchen. And I started taking it seriously a couple years ago. I had started just a social media presence, sharing what I was learning about, especially plant-based cooking and things like that, because I started having some health problems. So I wanted to explore what's healthy food, what's good for the environment, what's good for my body and my children. And so when I started sharing all of the cool recipes that I was making, people started asking me, hey, could I slide you some money and you just double your order and give me half? And before I knew it, it really blew up, and I realized that this was something that maybe we could make some money at. I'm a social worker by trade, and that's something that I thought I would always do, working in foster care and with kids in our community. So when this idea started to come to fruition, I wasn't sure in what capacity Two Birds was going to be part of my life. So I read a really good book by Father Boyle out of California. And he started a ministry there called the Homeboys. Well, now it's called Homeboys Industry, but it started with Homeboys Cafe. And what they do is they rehabilitate men and women now that are coming out of prison, and they do all kinds of services for them. And the way that they fund their ministry is through Homeboys Cafe. And so it just talked a lot about how deserving people are of our love, and how we can reach people through food. And as a chef, that just hit me right in my heart. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. So we got shut down for the pandemic, like everything else. And I decided to go ahead and go to culinary school while we were shut down, because I figured if this is what I'm really going to do with my life, let me go get some real skills and get trained and figure out how to do this. So I actually did a fully plant-based course, which taught me so much about gluten-free, healthy cooking, plant-based cooking, gave me a lot of education about the environment and the way that we eat and how it affects the environment and our bodies. So I learned from there kind of what we wanted to do with Two Birds. I think our big picture goal is to be able to hire people with criminal records, women who are trying to escape domestic violence situations. A lot of times they need some financial independence. So that's been our biggest goal, is to grow to a point where we can start to hire people and give back to the community really any way we can.
Now, how did you come to reach out to Grace? Tell us that story a little bit.
Okay, so like any other newbie to cooking in this area, or in the state of Virginia at least, I didn't realize that you can't sell food out of your home. And so when Two Birds started blowing up and I started making a bigger social media presence and offering my food for sale, the health department kindly let me know that you need a kitchen, you need to get licensed, and they have a lot of requirements, which I was more than happy to fill. So I reached out to probably every church, Moose Lodge, VFW in Lynchburg, and just said, hey, I'm a small business, I'm a single mom, I have a full-time day job, this is something I'm doing on the weekends and building, my way out of my day job, and would you be willing to partner with us, maybe in exchange for some ministry, a small amount of rent? A lot of churches were really struggling through the pandemic too, so I kind of thought maybe this is a way we can help out a church while they're helping out us. And it's worked out pretty well with Grace. Very appreciative for all the work that Alan especially has done, and believing in our mission and kind of understanding how big this could be and how many people we could help in our community.
Yeah, Ivy, you've also told me about how your passion overlays ministry. And you talked about that just a second ago. Could you tell more about some of the things you've been doing recently to kind of get out in the community and to participate that way?
Mm-hmm. So we recently partnered with the We Recover group in Lynchburg, which is a local program for people that are in recovery from whatever addiction. And we actually were able to cater like a holiday dinner for them at Amazement Square, and that was really cool. That was our first real licensed gig, and that was amazing. To be able to give back. And I lost my brother a few years ago to addiction, and so that's very close to my heart. So it was great that our first event got to be something in that field, because those are the kind of things that we want to do for sure.
And you mentioned growing and expanding. What do you see for the future of Two Birds?
So eventually, kind of modeling after how I've seen Homeboys Industry use their ministry. I love the idea of a self-sufficient ministry. So by being able to be our own lucrative business, we're going to be able to help in ways that we wouldn't be able to if we were just relying on donations. And I do believe that there is a unique aspect to food too, where it really is like everyone's common denominator. Everybody loves good food. So if we can teach people how to eat well, what makes them feel good, what will give you longevity, how can you eat so that you can still chase your grandchildren around in 40 years or whatever. A lot of people have no idea. And so to be able to incorporate how can we help the average person while also bringing up, people who need a second chance, it just seems like a no-brainer to me.
Ivy, thank you so much for sharing part of your journey. We're gonna swap places. Ivy, thank you for sharing with us. I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to introduce you to our Grace community, and I am thrilled that we have the opportunity to see how we can partner. For us, it's an experiment. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's part of the excitement that I find, that the Spirit is moving, and we're kind of caught up in that wake. We're following wherever God might lead, and we might have ideas, we might have hopes, but we don't know how it's going to be, but we are so glad to be able to walk with you on your journey. For those of you watching, the book that she mentioned by Greg Boyle is Tattoos on the Heart, and it's a fabulous one. I'll make sure to link it in anything that we put out with this video, and it's a fabulous read. If you haven't read that before, I highly recommend it. We look forward to some opportunities to meet Ivy in person as the pandemic changes and evolves. We're always trying to make those plans. We had some plans in January that kind of fell through, but we hope to have that opportunity soon. Thank you for watching.